I don't think I have a future with the team, but you know, it wasn't my call for the playoffs. So, do I think I could have helped? I would have loved the opportunity to, but it didn't happen. So.
Why do you think it's gotten to that point where you don't have a future with this team?
You know, I think that was in doubt for me last summer, and I don't think anyone was ready to come to grips with that yet. And so, you know, tried to make it work again, and it just doesn't seem to be a really good fit.
How does that work? What do you do? What's the process?
I haven't asked for anything, but I think everyone understands the situation we're in now. When it gets to a point where there's absolutely no communication for months at end, I mean, I think we all know that that's irreparable damage.
What do you think led to that?
Couldn't tell you, man. It wasn't. That's not something that comes from me. I come to work, do my job. You know, like I told you guys earlier in the year, if it's, you know, it's not necessarily my job to call the meeting and that kind of stuff. So, you know, I show up, I go to work. If I'm asked to get in shape, I do that. Or if I'm asked to cheer, I do that. And so, you know, I try to be the best pro with it that I could be, and we'll take it from there.
You started the season. You started off, shooting a little slow, but Ty stood by you. What changed after that? Do you know?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I started off, I don't know, the first few games, but you know, I would contest, not to get into anything, but you know, in 7 minutes, 8 minutes a night, you're not going to shoot the ball well. I think as people started going down, and I was able to get more time on the court and start to get a little rhythm, that I started shooting the ball better. But unfortunately, I got injured, and some things happened, and that's the nature of the game. So after that, I honestly couldn't tell you what happened.
Do you feel like you're still an NBA contributor and you have years left? And
that's a silly question, bro.
I just want you to tell us.
I just answered it.
I was just hearing this beginning. You don't feel like you'll be back next year with the Jazz?
I do not.
And Raj, in terms of how things went down, did you wish it would have gone differently, and you thought it could work out? Or
Yeah, I had my doubts. I don't think there was any question about, you know, whether I thought I was 100% part of what was going on, and you know, I get that there's a fan base that you owe it to them to play youth and get better. And we got some really, really good young kids. I would never take anything away from them. I was really excited to be a part of what happened here, and in whatever capacity that was, and you know, it was a fun ride. It was an experience for me. But I do, to your point, Jody, think that given the opportunity in a role that's established and not just jumping all over the place from night to night, that I could contribute. And you know, hopefully, you know, Kevin and the brass here find a way to make it work for all of us.
If that was communicated to you more clearly, would you be more open to staying?
Listen, it's not my call whether I go or stay, honestly. But in a situation like this, man, I can't, like, ideally for me, I don't want it to be the end of my career. I've had a good one, more than I could have ever asked out of this league, and I don't want it to be diminished or leave a sour taste in my mouth for having to deal with a situation like this.
Your relationship with Jerry versus Ty, how would you characterize that?
Night and day. I mean, for whatever reason, I mean, no finger pointing, anything like that. We're just two different people, so the dynamics were different, and you know, it is what it is.
Well, you came here expecting to play for Jerry. I know you had a good relationship with him, and then after he left, did it just kind of devolve?
Yeah, you know, there was, you know, I think I just picked a poor time, you know, to probably come back for the reasons that I came back. I came back for the stability, you know, the things that were in place. They've been in the playoffs the last few years. You know, there was rarely any change around here, and so all those things were really important to me when I signed. And you know, they didn't work out like that, but that's no one's fault. That's just the nature of the business. And so when circumstances changed, you know, you just kind of roll with the punches after that.
do you feel like they gave you a fair shake this season, or was it Dak always kind of sad?
No, listen, I played. I mean, I was, you know, I felt earlier in the year that, you know, he wanted to go in a certain direction, and that was okay. You know, like I said, it was kind of hard early for me to get a rhythm just because those minutes weren't consistent. But I felt like once I got going, he was more than fair. It wasn't an issue. You know, I didn't have any complaints. I don't make any mistakes about who I am as a player. I didn't expect to be, you know, shooting the ball 25 times or doing anything like that. I just wanted to play my role, whatever that was. But when the relationship fractured to the degree that it's at now, there wasn't even a shake to be had. I mean, it was, you know, I was getting one set of commands from one person, and then just zero communication. communication from the other person. I, honest to God, didn't know if I was playing one night until you told me I was active.
Right.
I mean, that's as unprofessional as it gets in my book.
In terms of how they kind of treated you, do you feel like, you know, obviously you had the altercation, but do you feel like they came out and said, hey, we're going to move forward, you know, we're going to take this thing forward, and do you feel like they never did that and never allowed everything to move on, because it seemed like you wanted to?
Well, I did. I think we had a conversation at the All-Star break where I told them, as a matter of fact as I could, you know, that if that was what they wanted to do, that I 100% supported that, and that it might be a good time for us to part ways, and it could be good for everybody. You know, I thought I had basketball left
Before
to be
the
played.
trade deadline, yeah.
Yeah, and we could do that, and there'd be no hard feelings whatsoever, and that I'd actually welcome it if they felt like that they were ready to go with their youth movement, and they told me no. And so, you know, like I said, I would never ask for a trade or anything like that, especially if you told me that you want me to be a part of what you're doing. Unfortunately, it didn't work out like that.
Would you come back if they don't trade you this summer, or then we'll take care of that when it comes?
We will cross that bridge when we get to it. But I am hoping, and I think they're hoping, that they can find a way to make that work.
Was it insulting? I mean, you've worked so hard to get in this league. You weren't drafted on it. Was it insulting, frustrating you to be in uniform? You didn't know if you were playing on, and then in the playoffs, you don't even get on the court and everybody plays?
You know, nobody owes me anything, dude, so I'm not, like, insulting, whatever. Do I think I could have contributed? I do. I played the Spurs in 3 playoff series in my career. Big battles with Manu, Tony, those guys. You know, when you have referees coming up to you asking you, well, why aren't you playing? Because you can make a difference out there. Their team asking you, why aren't you playing? Because, you know, we really were worried if you were in the scouting report, and we'd have to, you know, those type of things make you wonder, could you have helped? But it wasn't my call to make. And once I realized after game 1, when he cleared the whole bench, and I didn't even touch the court at the end of the game, that it was a personal matter, then it didn't make any, I didn't care anymore.
Do you feel like you're the only guy who has